Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery already in his heart. Jesus then gave an analogy saying, if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. The idea is that it's better for you to enter into heaven without eyesight or without hands than to not be able to go into the kingdom of God because your hands and eyes have caused you to sin. In 35:12, Jesus gives a similar sermon but phrases things a little differently. He says, whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery already in his heart. Behold, I give unto you a commandment that ye suffer none of these things to enter into your heart. For it is better that you should deny yourselves of these things, wherein you will take up your cross, than that ye should be cast into hell. How do we get to where we suffer none of these things to enter our hearts? That's a big question, and there's lots of possible answers. But before we talk about them, for the next 5 seconds, I want you to not think about a cat playing a ukulele. Whatever you do, don't think about a cat playing a ukulele for the next 5 seconds. Were you able to do it? I'm curious, how many of you before this moment have ever thought about a cat playing a ukulele? This exercise reminds us that sometimes when we try not to think of something, it almost makes it harder. If I exclusively focus on avoiding inappropriate thoughts, it could cause more to come. There are many approaches to reducing lustful thoughts. Perhaps I can use filters or other online tools. Or I can get advice from friends and family members. I can see a counselor. I can talk to my bishop. There are lots of good approaches. Standards and accountability are important. I want to highlight an idea that comes a little later in the Sermon on the Mount. In the Joseph Smith translation of Matthew 6, Jesus says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single to the glory of God, thy whole body shall be full of light. He says something similar in modern times. Look unto me in every thought. Perhaps Jesus is teaching that to get rid of bad thoughts, I have to bring in good thoughts. I need to fill my eye with light. If my eye is filled with the glory of God, that will drive away other things. Instead of only trying to not think about something, I can focus more on Jesus and bringing him into my heart. This principle is applicable not just with lustful thoughts, but with all kinds of negative thoughts. For example, if I have negative self-talk, I can fill my life with light. Perhaps I simply focus less on me and more on Jesus.
To see more videos like this one, simply search Seeking Jesus.